Eliza kicks off big time as she believes that the bay's against her. Justin gets worried for Theo when a river boy visits him at the garage. John returns to the bay and makes amends with Irene. And Harper and Tane's big day is railroaded after Tane admits he doesn't love her.
Hold me in your arms, don't let me go. I want to stay forever, closer each day, home and away.
Brendan Macaulay. Not a surprise. John, I know what you did for me. And I'm not angry that you lied. Can you please come home? I really miss you.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Right, really bizarre experience, I think, Sophie, watching Home and Away, and the adverts are full of Chris Hemsworth.
Were they?
You know, oh, are we getting different targeted ads? I'm getting Chris Hemsworth.
Are you?
And his You Go Boss, yeah.
I'm jealous. I don't know. To be honest, when the adverts come on, I usually leave the room and I'm thinking I need to go and do that. So I'll do it on the advert break. So I usually wait for the Simba recliner mattress or whatever it is now, and then I go, right, get up, move.
Yeah.
Oh
no, I've got. Yeah, so it's just a really weird experience. Oh, that didn't work as well as I thought it was going to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm watching Going Away, and then I go to an ad break, and it's Chris Hemsworth and his perfume.
Oh, maybe I should watch the ads next time. I might have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, his cologne.
Oh.
How are you? Are you okay?
I'm all right. We've just had a good laugh off air. I needed that. So, yeah, feeling good now. Thank you. How about
doing
you?
Work you should be doing.
I know.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. I tell you what, I've got to say, I've really enjoyed the show this week.
Yes, I have enjoyed it. I think I will enjoy next week even more, based on what happened this week. But yes, I have enjoyed it. It
was
terrible.
a week of 2 halves, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
But yeah, I just think even the stuff that's a bit, you know, even like I was saying to you off air, wasn't I? The execution of it's really good. So I'm you know, I'm not turning off. Do you know what I mean? Or turning away. Or I'm thinking, you know, when I think about it, I think about this whole season's been pretty chock-a-block thus far. You know, I think we've got a really good show on our hands this year.
Yeah.
And another week where I think there's only been 1 or 2 weeks where me and you have come on here and been like, this week was a bit of a drag.
Yeah.
And
it
of 6 months.
Has been wedding normally, so that's what I'm thinking. Because the weeks that I've not enjoyed this year have been few and far between, thank God. But they have been Harper Tane bullshit.
Yeah. Which looks like, well, we'll get on to it, but
womp
womp. Yeah.
Might be better now. It might not go away, but there might be a different, you know. So far, it's been will they, won't they? Will she ever wise up? You know what I mean? And next week, it might be a different take. So
someone hath woke up and smelled the coffee just in time. Big news, actually. This week the NTA long list is out. And thank you for letting me know, Sophie.
I'm on the email. I'm on the email list.
she's on the mail list. So Home and Away is obviously in the serial drama category, up against most of the other soaps. So get voting if you're a massive Home and Away fan like we are. I've used every single email and then some. Go and give Home and Away your votes for the National Television Award. We'll put the link in the episode description of this episode. It would be really, with the underdog, let's face it, it would be really nice. We're the only soap on there that's in daytime. It'd be nice to get on the shortlist, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
At least. Obviously, one of the massive soaps are gonna take it away. But and a lot of the soaps have had a lot of big stuff going on this year, you know.
Yeah.
But so has Home and Away, and we're fed up of getting overlooked. So get voting, people, on all your email addresses. We know you've got multiple. Everybody has. And hot off the press, something that sort of has developed today, and we don't really know what's going to happen, but it's a long weekend. It's the bank holiday weekend, Sophie, not to be forgotten. And Channel 5 have announced today that they have struck a deal to show more sport. You know what that means, don't you? More sport, less soaps.
Rubbish.
Does my blinking head. We've just had the snooker debacle. So Monday, and it's literally like announce it Friday, last minute schedule changes for Monday. So Monday bank holiday, it's a bank holiday anyway, so things used to change quite a bit on a bank holiday, didn't they, anyway, back in the day. There is now cricket, women's cricket, during the day on Channel 5. And from our research this afternoon, we've got two scenarios. Either the show, if you watch it on 5 linear during the day, isn't going to be there. Now, with the snooker, they did shift it to 5-star, didn't they? So, but the TV guys just aren't updating because this is all happening very, very live. Or we've seen some unconfirmed reports of it being slid just slightly earlier to 1:30 because the kick kicks off at 2. So if you do watch it on Channel 5 during the day, just double check it on the day, I think is the advice, isn't it? Just to check if it's on. Of course, as always, it's available on the app from 6 a.m. So you could always just watch it at the normal time, I guess, on the app. But
I think some people do a schedule record thing, don't they? So
yeah, which could knock out,
look at the wrong thing. Yeah,
and then you'll turn up Tuesday thinking, have I missed something? And it's normally us you seem to ask. So we're trying to preempt. Just if you watch it on Channel 5 during the afternoon, if you're one of the few that are still left doing that, let's face it, just check your schedules on the day, I think, is probably the best advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll try and keep you updated. We always do. We're dead nice, aren't we, like that?
We try.
Nice?
We do try when we find out stuff. Yeah, we do try and tell everybody. Because like you say, we do get questions, so it helps us to be on the front foot rather than the back foot sometimes. And Sophie does a lot of the communication around schedules on the social media, and then way better than Channel 5. So I understand why people come to us, to be honest. Way better than Channel 5. And yet Channel 5 have muted us on their main page, I think. But there we go.
Swines. Can't get me out of the inbox though, can they?
Drunk texting. Oh dear.
The next thing is an Uber over there.
Let's do it.
Picket line. Right, that's that out of the way. Shall we talk about this week's Home and Away?
Yes, let's get on with it. Yes.
Mid-meltdown in Salt Monday when we rejoin the Bay. We've got Eliza there, and Harper goes to her after Tane says, don't get involved. She's dangerous. There's something off. She's sick in the head. Obviously, we left the week before with the whole where's my knife? And Eliza is not very happy, is she? Harper actually has a go when Tane warns her off. Obviously, his precious child cannot, be put in her harm's way, you see. But Harper has a good go at him. And again, another example of Harper's stance towards him changing. There's been subtle elements of this, hasn't there? And we've touched on it in previous episodes, not for a few weeks because they haven't been on air. But when they were last on, we were saying Harper seems to be shifting a little bit, doesn't she? Her attitude, her stance around Tane does seem to be shifting to a more defensive opposition one rather than pandering. And this was another example, I thought, of her standing up to him and saying, do you even know what I do for a job? I'm like, does anyone?
Well, she's just an incubator to him, isn't she? So he doesn't even think about. I honestly don't think he thinks about her as a person. I think he just thinks of her as a womb. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right because he would clearly be able to see that she's some sort of anguish,
Yeah.
you know, and what effect he's having on it. You'd have to be blind to miss it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I'm glad she told him what for, to be honest, and she still went through and met with Eliza, which I was glad about. And Eliza, speaking of, is screaming at Rue, "You're just like all the others. All you do is lie to me." Runs off, packs a bag. She's going to leave town. We're all rejoicing, and Rue stops her and says, "Take me through this box of treasures of yours. Help me understand." I thought, oh God, here we go. Here we go. Houdini, eat your heart out. This feather's for this. The bloodstained bandage reminds me of that. The lighter was my nana's. You know, she happened to smoke. What a crock of crap. What a crock of crap. Works like any other time, doesn't it? Should Rue be seeing through this by this point? Why does she keep falling for it? Blinkers on, Soph. Why does she keep doing this over and over and over again?
So frustrating. All I can come up with is that she's so desperate for this to be true that she believes it. She's so desperate for Eliza not to be, you know, for want of a better word, a psychopath, so that she can say, "Oh, I took this poor girl on that's had this terrible life, and then, you know, it's this lovely story at the end where I helped her and she got her HSC or whatever it is that Rue thinks that she needs, rather than being sectioned and taken away, because that's probably what she needs, or at least being medically, you know, reviewed."
Yeah.
That's all I can think. I mean, what thoughts have you got on this? I can't explain it other than the fact that I think this is what Rue wishes was happening, so therefore she's going along with it.
She's just imploring it to be the case, and it's the only explanation. But the problem I have with it, and I mentioned this last week, is I don't quite believe in that desperation enough.
No.
You know, and it needs to be explained more. And I said, didn't I, last week, if they explained it as being the Martha thing more explicitly, you know, that she wants to right a wrong, I could probably get on board with that desperation argument. But all it looks like is that she's just a bit of a doormat, you know, and a bit of a mug.
Yeah. Or is she scared to admit that she's in over her head?
Well, there could be that. There could have been a bit of Stuart stubbornness, couldn't there?
Like she doesn't want to say to Marilyn or anyone else, I'm out of my depth here and I don't know what I'm doing. Because she's made a big song and dance of, she's my foster child, you know, I'll tell her.
Yeah. This was her big thing in life, isn't it? She did this because she wanted to give back, and, you know, she got nothing else on. Yeah, so... Could she really face telling everyone it was a big fat failure? Probably not. Yeah, there's probably a bit of that in there. You're right. Yeah. Harper does come round, doesn't she, and takes her out for a chat and says, you know, lets her feel the baby kick and all the rest of it, and just obviously eats right into Eliza and her obsession, doesn't it? Tane clocks it, not happy, sticks about, causes another row, days before the wedding this, and, you know, doesn't know what to do if something happens to her. But we all knew beneath the surface of that line was if something happened to the baby indirectly, you know, something happens to you because you're carrying said baby, like you said, an incubator. Well put. Of course, that sounds like something she'd want to hear, so she then clings on to that hope. Oh, he feels something for me. He feels something for me. No, he feels something for you as the carrier of said child, you know. And she latches on, doesn't she? And this is what I find or I have found growingly tragic about Harper, is that the longer it's gone on, the more tragic it's become, because she's started to cling on the slightest word, because it's all she's got left. Everything else has slipped away. And Rue, she basically tells Eliza, Rue, that Harper's busy. When Eliza says, I want to spend more time with her, I bought this teddy for her. Can we go and give it her now? And Rue, having had a phone call off Harper to say, look, Tane's not very, you know, I think it's best we keep our distance. Tane's not happy. She has to tell Eliza that it's not going to happen. She's very busy, baby, wedding, whatnot. And Eliza does another bit of a flip, and she manages to conjure up some lighter fluid in a bin and set fire to this teddy bear in a rather dramatic fashion. Burning the teddy bear thing.
Hmm.
Is this a sort of, when they say murderers kill animals in the
Mm.
early days, is this a sort of premonition? Is this a foreshadow of sort of what? Because Eliza's capabilities are up in the air, aren't they? We know there's this question mark over a house fire. She's now setting fire to something else. Is this too obvious?
Yeah, I mean, it's symbolic of that whole uh, children that torture bugs and animals and that kind of thing grow up to be adults that kill or hurt other adults or whatever. So it's kind of like a symbolic thing of that, but it's in keeping with her when something happens to her that she doesn't like, she just lashes out. So it's just
Yeah,
another lashing out. It's a violent lashing out. Like she's hit this Scott guy when he took her phone, when she tried to bottle him when he took her phone, but she hit him when they had that confrontation at boot camp. Now
yeah,
she's lashing out at Harper. Harper's not physically in front of her, so the next best thing is to burn this toy that she bought for the baby.
yeah,
And that's symbolic because it's like it harks back to the house fire, whether she did that. Is she capable of setting fire to something more, serious than a bear? Is she capable of setting fire to a house with people in it? Probably. I don't know. But it's all part of that. She doesn't get what she wants. She feels rejected. She feels abandoned by the person that she's like latched onto. And then, because I'm reading between the lines, I'm thinking she's lying about the previous foster family. She said something like the kids that came along after her didn't like her and thought she was the favourite. The foster family have said that's not the case, and she was the one that was horrible to the kids that came along next because she was jealous of them. Like, she's saying they're jealous of me, and the foster family saying she was jealous of these other kids that came in for foster caring.
yeah,
So, is she jealous that someone else has now not, abandoned her and not? I don't know.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it feels like an escalation of
Yeah,
that kind of.
coupled with that argument with Rue of you're just like the others.
Yeah,
You've shown your true colours.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What you're saying makes perfect sense to me. Based on that
mm,
evidence, really. But I do like that it doesn't go far enough.
yeah,
That there's still a question mark. Like,
yeah,
it could all be just a massive red herring, and she is just a troubled kid, and
yeah,
that's still a possibility,
yeah,
even though she does all this bad stuff and this stuff that's out of order and over the mark and inappropriate.
mm,
She still could just be because she's not had a privileged life as some of us have. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And I love that the script is not going there. It's still leaving enough doubt,
yeah,
and it keeps you interested. It's one of the most interesting stories on the show at the moment for me.
yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving it, loving it. It helps that she's a bit scary as well. The
Mm,
actress, but honestly, she's done loads as a
mm,
young child. She's going to be one to watch.
yeah,
She really is. Going to be one to watch. Martha, she's called. She's going to be so good.
yeah.
I told you I'd look her up. Remy's had $500 slipped under his back door by Sonny. Ooh, more to come, he says.
I'm sorry, but I was on tweet along this night, and I said who slips an envelope of money through the back door? Who posts anything through the back door? And then I realized, like, penny drop moment. This has got to be a setup because we make so many backdoor jokes on this podcast that this is like, I almost don't want to make a joke because I don't want to walk into the trap because I feel like this was a trap.
So we do it in the back. Cy and Sophie will just eat it up.
Love a backdoor joke, we do. So yeah. Very odd.
I'm not sure we can dine out on them season 5 as much as we did maybe season 2, because I'm sure we have episodes out there where we have fallen out laughing for like 20 minutes, falling about laughing over a backdoor joke.
We have, yeah.
but
Irene's
yeah.
was the brunt of the jokes, I think. Irene's backdoor, bless her. Yeah.
So many come through there.
Nobody
Where's
goes through the front door at Irene's.
No.
No one. Maybe the police every 2 years, but that's
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
It's always the police, isn't it? That's right. Where's all this coming from? Asks Remy. Ooh, good question. Bree thinks he might be trying to make amends, and she's like, look, give him the benefit of the doubt. I know he tried to kiss me, but this might be his way of, he's saying he's sorry. But something does seem a bit off about the whole thing, and Remy is suspicious, isn't he? And he asks to meet up with him, and he's like, what do you think was going to happen when you kissed my bird? And they talk it out, don't they? And do they? I can't work out, or I can't remember at least. Do they leave it on a sort of a more or less amicable situation, don't they? It wasn't sort of left bosom buddies again.
No.
Because Sonny sort of needs a reason to need money, doesn't he? Which we'll come on to in a moment. But there was a sort of element of Remy sort of accepting that he perhaps might be a bit sorry, or was I reading way too much into it?
I think Remy's kind of, the anger's gone, hasn't it? The anger's subsided. He's not
That'll be it.
He's not as angry with him. I don't think he's forgiven him. I don't think he's gone, yeah, it's okay. Because Bree was kind of like, oh, he's sorry, he didn't mean it. It was just one of them things. Just get over it. I'm over it. And Remy was like, no, like it's crossed the line. And then when he got the money and he had the chat with him, I don't think he's forgiven him, but I do think he's kind of gone, he's trying. I can see he's trying to pay me back. He's trying to make amends. So I think it's one of them things where, like recently Remy's been saying to Cash, like, you and Eden, are not going to make it. And I'm just waiting for you to break her heart. And then a week later, he was like, you're right, mate. Congrats on your promotion. I think it's going to be a bit like that. Like, he's just, I don't think Remy's a grudge holder. Like some of the other characters are very much grudge holders. I think Remy gets annoyed, and then he has a bit of space, and then he kind of gets over it. So
yeah, I think you're right, and that's probably one of his better traits, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not good for soap opera drama, but it's a good trait in a person.
Not good for consistency and continuity, but yes.
Yeah. Hey, now speaking of Sonny, Leah's noticed that he's not really talking to Theo that much at the minute. And we'll know there's been some headbutting, hasn't there, since the drag racing stuff last week. And Sonny doesn't quite agree with it. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. That's all flipped on its head, hasn't it? And even Justin overhears an argument at the garage between the two of them where Sonny tells him to wake up. So, the peripherals are starting to notice now that not everything is best mates between the two of them. And then the next thing, Gage is in town asking after Theo. So this is all getting very dangerous very quickly. And we're all wondering what's so special about Theo. Still now wondering. At the same time as Gage is literally at the, because this is when Justin clocks that there's a river boy asking for Theo, because he goes to the garage, doesn't he? Spots the tattoo on his arm. But at this very same time, elsewhere in town, Theo is literally with his girlfriend. And I'm just like, can't take a breath. I'm holding my breath at this point, thinking, do you know what I mean? Let alone Sonny. If I was in Sonny's position, I don't know what I would be doing right now. I'd have to just go and get in the sea or something, because I've just honestly I'd be imploding. He does walk in on him, doesn't he, shaking hands. And he's like, what's going on? And he gets no answers. So he goes to Cash, and sorry if I didn't mention. He goes to Cash, Justin, and he says, look, I'm worried. There's a river boy asking after Theo. I've just seen them doing a handshake. Something's off. And he sort of jumps to conclusions of it being Sonny. Sonny's turned up. They're hanging about together. There's this river boy now. Something feels really off. Theo won't talk to me. He won't tell me anything. So Cash says, look, I'll go and have a word with him. We are looking into it all. I do love how Cash just tells everybody that they're investigating something, tells them all the details of that investigation.
Rose did the same when she was around. Do you remember? She was, I can't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Yes. But he is a witness in a murder. Yes. Am I watching him? I trust you not to tell him. Yeah. Cash does the exact same thing, doesn't he? Tells him all the details about it. And he goes to see Theo to see what he knows. And I really enjoyed this scene. Cash and Theo don't really do much together, do they?
No.
So I always find it fascinating watching characters interact that I'm not used to. So, it was one of those moments where I stopped making notes and I just took the scene in, and Theo's like, no, it's nothing to do with me. I don't know anything. And he gives him plenty of opportunity, doesn't he? I even liked the bits where he's like, make sure your car's roadworthy, because Cash is obviously investigating illegal racing. He's looking at this sporty looking car, and he's already got there, Cash. He just needs to prove it, doesn't he, at this stage? Theo's telling him nothing. So Cash, your moment of the week, takes it upon himself. Look, if they're not going to tell me, I'm going to have to prove it. So he takes it upon himself to stick a tracker the size of a CD to the underneath of Gage's car.
Yep.
Your favourite moment of the week?
It was. I've watched it many times. Sliding under the car, and sorry, I'm getting a bit hot thinking about it. I do, so this scene that you're talking about in the garage, I really did like it, same reasons as you, because I don't think I've ever seen Cash at the garage before. I don't remember seeing a Cash at the garage before, so it was like new location unlocked. Cash knows where Insular Bay Auto is. And also I like the fact that he had that conversation with Theo, because normally when they have interacted, it's been because of Lyric, because his girlfriend's in the same band and whatever. It's never been Cash with his uniform head on. Although he was in his plain clothes, he wasn't wearing his uniform. He was there on official business, really, wasn't he? And he was there, I think, as a friend to warn Theo. He gave him enough information to say, look, lad, the police know about the drag racing. The police know about the stolen parts. Anyone who's going to get caught up in this is going to go to prison. I think that was Cash's way of a friendly warning to say, we've got an eye on this, so if you're involved, back out now, because you don't want to go any further because you're going to get into trouble. And I thought that was quite a good thing. What really disappointed me was Justin had alluded to Cash before this that he thought Sonny was the antagonist of this, this Riverboy stuff, which is not right. It's Theo that's driving the Riverboy stuff, and it's Sonny that's, the one going, I don't think we should do this. Just as Cash is walking away, Theo is in the garage still, and Sonny is walking in. Do you remember? And Cash and him look at each other, but they don't have a dialogue. And I thought it was a shame that Cash didn't question Sonny, or that Cash didn't hang around long enough to earwig on what Theo and Sonny were saying. Because if I was Cash, I'd have waited around the corner and had a listen to see whether they had a conversation between them about why Cash was there and what he wanted, because he would have heard more of that conversation if he had. So I was a bit like, but then I was thinking he's had to do that because the storyline would be over then, because he'd know immediately.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that would have been good though. And actually, now I'm starting to think. Now you say that, I didn't pick up on that, but you're right. And now I say it, I'm thinking. I'm asking myself the question: would Sonny? Would he talk?
I think he would.
How loyal is he? Yeah, I do as well,
Because I don't think he wants to be in trouble. I don't. Because I think Theo's. I don't know what's changed in him, but he doesn't seem scared. He doesn't feel like he feels like he's untouchable. He feels like he's not going to get caught.
Yeah, 10 Men vibes. Where's this come from?
It's weird, and I don't think it's in his nature. I think this is like an overnight character personality change. Because I don't know where it's come from, but I think Sonny isn't like that, and I think Sonny's the more likely to crumble under a, not an interrogation, because I don't think Cash was interrogating. I just think he was there fishing, for information. I think Sonny would have crumbled like a house of cards and said,
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with me. Theo, I didn't mean to get involved. I didn't know who the other boys were, and it was an accident, and now it's got out of hand. And I think he's more likely to spill his guts than Theo is, but I don't really know why Theo's acting this way. Like, I feel like he's changed. Do you?
I do. He does remind me of Theo in the Valerie era. I know I mentioned that.
Yeah, true.
But at least then you could attribute it to the substance.
Yeah.
Like this time, I'm like, the only thing that we've got to go on is that he was feeling a bit lost, wasn't he? The band's over, basically. And he didn't know what he was going to do with his life, and he needed this car project to focus. It's a weak link, but are we supposed to say that he's decided to just, throw caution to the wind and just live a little bit more in the moment? And it's not very explicit if it's that kind of YOLO attitude that he's decided to take. He feels like his life's a bit boring, stale. I mean, he had a few scenes anyway. He was like, I've got no friends, no girlfriend, no this, no that.
That's
Next
true.
thing is this. But it was so far long ago, those scenes, that it's easy to forget.
Yeah. That was when he was contemplating going out with Abby, wasn't it? And then Marley got there first.
Yeah, and then he felt sorry for himself, and he was I don't have anyone.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
But it was but the link between the two of them is weak.
It is.
But is it supposed to be that? I don't know.
I don't know either. I just can't put my finger on it, because I do feel like he feels like he's invincible at the moment, and he feels like he's not. He's untouchable. He's not going to get into trouble. He can do what he likes, and Cash is just on a fishing expedition. Even though Cash has basically said to him, I know they're doing this. I know they're drag racing. I know they're doing illegal betting. I know they're doing stolen car parts. We're keeping an eye on them. And if I was Theo in that position, I'd be thinking, shit.
This is serious.
I'm close to getting caught here. I need to back off. And he's just going, no, it's fine. Like, I'll race my own car next time. I'm like, where did this come from? This doesn't make sense.
I know. And the Theo we know would have been petrified.
Exactly. Yeah. So where's this bravado come from?
Yeah. And this isn't anyone. This is the River Boys. And I must say, these 2025 River Boys are much more up to it than 2024.
Definitely. Definitely.
These feel like people not to be trifled with. They felt a bit juvenile last year, didn't they? And it was a bit of a letdown. This feels a bit serious.
I was going to ask you about that, actually, because Gage to me feels like a more dangerous character than Rory and Dingo and everyone from last year. Do you think Lacey is as dangerous as him, or do you think there's a more of a coercive relationship going on there? Like, she feels like she's trapped, and I don't know. I can't get
that. I can't read her. Can't get a read.
Yeah.
My gut first impression is she feels as trapped. She's stuck in it all. That's why she's looking elsewhere. She's acting out. But you're right. You just don't know with this lot. It could all be part of the master plan. To seduce him.
Yeah.
You just don't know, do you?
I can't get a read on her at all. I guess we've not had that much time with her.
No.
But I can't work out whether because there was that scene with Sonny, and he said to Gage, don't make a deal with him. His car's barely roadworthy. It's a bad mistake. He's going to total himself. He's not a race car driver. Blah blah blah. And she says to Sonny, "Oh, it's too late now for him to back out." And Sonny goes, "I wasn't talking to you." And then Gage jumps to her defense immediately and says, watch your tone, watch your mouth, whatever it was he said.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so he is really quick to defend his woman.
Yeah, very Will Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit, wasn't it? But then is that I can't get a handle on their relationship.
No, and she, did you notice she said, "Excuse me"? as if
Yeah.
who you're talking to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And obviously she knows Sonny knows about
Yeah.
what, but she's not fazed by that.
No.
She's not worried that he's going to tell him,
No.
or
Because
I
he's
just can't.
scared
Yeah,
because he's the messenger then, isn't he? I think
yeah,
he'd get beaten up as much as Theo for even knowing about it.
yeah. It's
It's weird, isn't it? I can't work out whether she's a total bad girl and just doesn't give a fuck, or whether she's coerced and she's in this life that she can't get out of now. Because like you said the other week when we had that scene where there was like that fight outside the surf club or whatever, and Gage got arrested, and she immediately turned around to Theo and went, buy me a drink, didn't she? She wasn't
Yeah.
like going down to the station to sit outside the interrogation
Nope.
room for her boyfriend. She was just like, oh
Yeah.
God, here we go. It was almost like, oh, I've got 5 minutes peace to go and flirt with someone else.
Yeah.
But was that a game plan, or was that just, I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah. Do you know what though? Part of me wants it to be the plan.
Yeah, that'd be more
'Cause
interesting.
That's really good.
Oh, poor Theo though.
That's better than Theo losing his kneecaps, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I quite like her though. It's weird. Like, I know we're not supposed to like Gage and Lacey, but I actually do like them because I think they're being really well portrayed on screen, and it's exciting and it's fun to watch. Like, I can't not like them, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like everyone's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know, there's not an episode where I'm like, oh, that was a drag.
No.
You know, I'm literally chomping on the bit for the next installment at the minute.
Oh, good. I'm glad, because I feel the
yeah.
same.
Yeah, I am, honestly, and it's down to these. We've got some really good actors on the show right now.
Yeah, we have.
You know, there's nobody letting the side down. And I think it's really well written. We've been praising the script now for some time on here. You know, it's easy. I think it's easy to slag the writing off sometimes, isn't it, on shows like this?
It's the quickest, criticism we can make, isn't it? That it's the writing. Yeah.
But I think that it's just on top form. I think there's definitely been a step up. Like in all departments. Well done, everyone. Right, Marilyn's struggling to lie to Irene this week about John's big plan. You know, when he got out of town, making up poor old Jet excuses. And Irene knows something's up with Maz, can read her like a book. She's thinking Jet might have something wrong, you know, because that was the excuse John made. She's worrying about Maz. So Maz then is obviously guilted because she's making Irene worry about her when there's nothing to worry about. She's just lying and is really bad at it. She's tottering round the diner in her heels, trying to not make eye contact. So in the end, she ends up having to tell her, doesn't she, that look, Jet's not sick. John's made it all up. He got out of town for you. So this results in Irene. I mean, it's the way they shot this was bloody gorgeous. I watched it a few times because just something about the sun glinting off the sea, isn't there?
I know. And we've been there.
I know, and that just, yeah. You know, you just think how lucky we were. You know, so you see lucky. Things like that. Yeah. She goes for a walk. She leaves him his voicemail asking him to come home. So next thing, John's home. Yay, John's home. I must say, I'm really annoyed though, because then there's this whole. He creeps into the diner, doesn't he? After he's obviously checked in with Cash about best man speech and making him get on with that. She creeps into the diner and she's like, come here, you galoot, you know, and give me a hug. And I'm thinking she couldn't even look at him a fortnight ago, ran him out of town. Is she getting off scot-free here? I'm a little bit, my back's up a bit.
She is a bit, isn't she? I mean, she's not been a good friend to him since she got out of rehab, but I am giving her the benefit of the doubt because none of these people were good friends to her by dragging her out of rehab.
I know. And to be fair, like, he still, even after this a bit, he still even tries to talk her into the wedding, doesn't he?
That's when he crossed the line again for me, because he had that conversation with her not long after he came back from the city, and I was thinking, you've just been let back in. You know what I mean? You've just, like, give it a day at least before you mention the flipping wedding. But no, day 1, 5 minutes in, and he's like, so, are you coming to the wedding? You know, I can drive you. I can take you home when you've had enough. I can do this. And I was like, can we all just stop pressuring the bloody alcoholic into going to a social event, like, where there's going to be alcohol? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I did have to walk away from the TV because as much as I loved the fact that they was like, you know, they were sitting down, they were having a nice chat. I love these two together. You know, all the scenes with these two, they're so lovely. You just,
Yeah.
I don't even care what they talk about as long as they're,
Yeah, same.
you
It's
know what I mean?
effortless, isn't it?
Yeah. If they're just talking about tea and cake, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I don't need
Yeah.
loads of content, loads of dialogue. So I was happy to get them on screen, but then I did have to walk away because I was like, oh, JP, just leave it for 5 minutes, doll.
I know. And he ends up wearing it down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which, you know, this is a soap, so something's going to happen,
Yeah.
you know. Well, as it happens, we'll get onto it. But, you know, you're thinking it's just going to be bad news, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. I mean, it's like a free pass, isn't it? You know, she was horrendous to him. She shut him out. She let everybody else in on this routine that was so important. She freezes him out, and when he comes, and then she feels bad for doing it because he's been stuck out of town for I don't know how many weeks.
Yeah.
As soon as he comes back, she doesn't even apologise.
Yeah, but I've got members of my family that are like this, and they don't mean they're not sorry, but like I can have a blazing row with someone, and then 5 minutes later they'll go, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And that's their way of saying, "I'm sorry, I love you." But they don't say, "I'm sorry, I love you." They say, "Do you want a cup of tea?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Irene's like that. I think if I don't, and she left a really nice voicemail for him, didn't she? Like,
She did, but I'm sorry. I would have said to her, "I need to hear it."
yeah, I think
I'm that guy.
I've grown up in a household where sorry means a hug and a do you want some dinner or do you want a cup of tea? Do you know what I mean? I kind of go, right, that's our way of saying sorry. I get it. Like,
Blinking heck. Anyway, he's back. He's back.
Thank God. I missed him.
He's got a tat.
Yes! I love his tat. It's awesome. I'm so happy with this. And guys, this is unlike Facebook, who thinks all the blood and sand tattoos are real. This is actually real, this tat, isn't it? Because he put it on his Instagram when he got it.
Yeah, so they put it in the script, haven't
Yeah.
they?
Hilarious. He got it in October and he put a picture of it on Instagram, and I think he said something like, I wonder what they'll think at work next week when I rock up with this.
Last minute rewrite, clearly.
Yeah.
Of a scene.
I loved it.
Which I imagine happens more than we think.
Yeah.
It's also helped us, Inspector Clouseau here. You've managed to sort of, right, okay, that dates us because we went to Palm Beach in November, so we're probably a few weeks away from seeing what we saw.
Yeah.
It's probably playing out in Oz now, isn't it, to be fair?
I think it's probably already gone out in Oz. Yeah, I think we're about 4 weeks away-ish from whatever we saw.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited, and I bet it'll be really unassuming as well.
I've memorised everybody's outfits.
I have denim dress.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I'm poised.
And Eden was wearing that black jumpsuit thing with shorts.
Yeah, the little shorts. Yeah, I'm all over it. I'm over it as well.
Yeah.
Glad to know we're both at it. Right, Harper's wedding dress has arrived, talking of outfits. And Tane's sat staring at his suit in the bedroom, disconnected to the excitement of the wedding. And Harper's well aware of the vibe, isn't she? She can see it on his face. We all can. Tane's even forgotten that the wedding rehearsal was happening. I mean, come on. If that's not telling you he's not bothered about his wedding, what is? He's not even told Cash to be there. Dana's got to scurry around like she has done everything else. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Dana has made this happen. And actually, because of that, and coupled with some of the things she's saying to Harper when Harper's sitting there in a gaze of doubt, and Dana's saying things like, well, you did say you made you feel safe. That, coupled with, her actually doing everything, I think Dana's complicit in this getting this far, actually. And I'm saying that as president of the Dana fan club.
She is, but she's also had her absolute head bitten off when she's tried to tell, Harper,
Well, that's
this
true.
is a terrible
Yeah.
idea. So I can't blame her because she has tried
Yeah,
more than
you are
most.
right.
More than most.
You are right. That's fair enough. I've
Yeah.
checked myself. I'll get back in my box.
I am the independent, non-subjective or whatever. No, subjective. Impartial judge here, because you are the Dana president fan club president. So I think that I don't think she's
Damned if she does, damned if she doesn't.
yeah, I think
suppose.
she's tried, and then obviously because she's got the backlash from Harper, she's now gone fully into supportive sister, bridesmaid, maid of honor, and I think
Yeah.
she hadn't got a choice, and I thought that was really sweet actually that she'd done that, because
Yeah. It was the only way it was
Yeah,
going to happen.
it
Because
was.
it wouldn't have, if she wasn't so on it, this
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened. Let's face it. It would have all crumbled sooner.
Exactly, and as far as she's aware, at this point, her sister, this is what she wants because that's what she's been telling her. This is what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's,
Yeah.
even though she didn't agree with it, she's gone fully into it and said, right, well, my sister wants this, and this will make her happy, so let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, oh God, that rehearsal as well.
Ugh.
Tane's got a face like a long wet weekend.
It was that bit where I mean, I don't know what a rehearsal, I don't even know what this would normally entail, but, there was that bit where he said, and now you'd kiss, and there was like almost an expectation that they would rehearse the kiss, and he just stared at her, didn't he? And I was like, oh my God.
But he doesn't even touch her or
No.
no. When they're home alone and they're sat on the sofa, he's at the opposite end.
I know.
Of the couch.
What about when she came back from the city? So we're supposed to believe they've been apart for at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and she's been training this guy in the city, not that far away, but absence and all that sort of stuff. She walks in the door. He's still 6 feet away. It's almost social distancing between them.
I know.
It's almost like there's COVID in the bay.
I know. She comes back early to surprise him. He doesn't give her a hug.
He doesn't even get 6 feet nearer. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell?
I know.
Not even a handshake, doll. What the hell?
No wonder she's feeling the vibe.
Exactly.
Eden thinks she's been to more upbeat funerals.
And she should know.
I know. I was thinking that.
She grew up in a house full of dead people, so she should know. Oh dear.
Oh God. Tane ends up going to Salt, drinking alone after they've just had his wedding rehearsal, and there's nothing to downbrief or get excited about or talk about. He's gone to drink on his own at the bar. But this gives Harper a chance to open the cupboard with the flip box. And she goes for a look. I mean, me and you were joking on the text where we said I'm shocked considering the lack of furniture and belongings he has in that room that she's not been through this box yet. But we'll go with it.
There's nothing else in that room, darling. He's got like a gym outfit and a bag, and then everything else is just pants.
And his stick.
He doesn't have any belongings.
No.
She opened the cupboard, it's the only thing in there. It's not like it's like hidden at the back. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's not like under a load of stuff. It's just like open the cupboard and there's the box of death staring at you.
You'd have definitely perused the box of death by now, wouldn't you? And she sees how happy his other wedding was and how traditional it was, and he put a lot into it.
Did he look happy though in that photo?
I don't know. It was the furs and it was the whole shebang, wasn't it? You know.
He's facing that. I don't think he smiles. I think that's the problem.
No, I think he looked happier there than he does now.
He does, but it wasn't like a toothy grin like Flicks was. It was more like when you tell me the pizza's in the oven, you know.
Only 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy, but I'm not ecstatic, you know.
Next morning, she's then asking him outright, though. And to be fair to her, I thought this was the chance. This was the make or break, wasn't it? Day before the wedding, she's asking. This is the time for straight shooting, isn't it? Let's face it. She's at it. You don't seem excited. You don't really want this. And they end up getting interrupted by Cash. I'm like, Cash, man, bloody hell. I want to see the showdown. If this was one of the other soaps as well, if this was like EastEnders, for example, that two-hander would have gone on for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Of them hashing it out, wouldn't it? And I suppose that's testament to the different soaps and the different formulas they have and how faster Home and Away is, I suppose. But I did want a bit more from them, to be honest, in that moment before Cash come walking in. She leaves then. I've got secrets. What is it?
Bridesmaid shit.
Bridesmaids, yeah. Secret bridesmaid shit to do. Dana says, and then she's obviously offloading a bit to Dana, isn't she? And she's like, he's not said he loves you yet, but he said he makes you feel safe. Is it enough still? And Cash is having this there's almost this mirror conversation going on, isn't there, with Cash? It's like bride and maid of honor, groom and best man, and Cash is saying, I can't do this, you're kidding yourself. All the similar questions, really. Ask just what you really want. Tane gets mad, walks out. And then later on, when Harper's yet again suppressed it all, she's then tried the dress on, and she's like weeping. I mean, it is a bit of an iconic moment, but she's weeping and wailing in this dress, all mascara running all over it. Real good. Sort of visual of the fact that this wedding is doomed. This is not a happy bride.
No.
And it's a really good visual to have, I think, to have her stood there, veil on and everything, in absolute bits. I did quite enjoy it in a sadistic way. And we end up in the moment where we get to the point of the actual morning, don't we, of the wedding. And I remember saying to you on here, it's going to go right down to the ceremony, this. It wasn't quite right, was I? Because she's woke up and she's gone, can't do it. Can't do it. I mean, this hamper's been delivered, for God's sake, by Mac and Levi. They look spinny. You'd be fuming, wouldn't you?
Why was it on the front lawn, though?
Going warm.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. That was a bit weird.
Is that an Aussie thing?
I don't know. Like,
do they not knock?
But you post things through the back door, but you put the luncheon out the front. What's that about? Yeah. Don't know.
Champagne just gets left to be nicked. Don't get it.
Don't get it.
And she turns up, doesn't she, for the chat, and she's like, look, this isn't happening, lad. This is not happening. Because the night before, she slept on it, hasn't she? There was this moment the night before, and she's like, you don't love me. I love you, Tane. Tell me you love me. And he admits, I know I don't. But, I'm committed to you, and I'm committed to the baby. I actually took a breath. I ended up I was raging around the house at 8 o'clock this morning at this. Because it went to a break. She agrees with it. She agrees to these terms. She asks him, do you love me? She's putting her heart on the line, the girl. You can barely understand what she's saying. It's that emotional for her. Because she's scared of what he's going to say, of what she's going to hear. And he tells her. He confirms it. I don't love you. But, I've promised I will look after you, baby, what have you. Let's just forget about it. Hang on a minute, lad.
Yeah.
I don't love you. How is a girl supposed to forget about that?
No.
The night before a wedding.
This was dreadful. This was another nail in Tane's coffin of the last 2 years of him being fripping awful.
Yeah, it was dreadful.
Yeah.
Dreadful. And I was, to be honest with you, I even overlooked Tane for a minute because I was so shocked that she agreed to those terms.
I know.
And then it went to an ad break, and I stormed to the kitchen for coffee thinking,
Is this when you texted me? Because I woke up and I got a text you going, brace yourself.
Yeah. I was in the kitchen pouring a top up of my coffee thinking, do I even go back in there? Can I watch the rest? I'm thinking she's going through.
Oh.
I mean, they were toying with us. She obviously sleeps on it. Next day, she says, this is not happening. I don't want to be in a loveless marriage. I'm not going to bring my son into this. And you know what? I'm glad she slept on it and came to her senses. But, it was a proper roller coaster this episode. I'm thinking she's going to go through this bloody wedding. Oh.
Yeah. I was wondering whether she'd go through with it because she'd got so far and she didn't want to back out and make herself
let
look,
everyone down and
make herself look daft and all that stuff. But I'm really glad, like I said last week, I think it's much better to back out the day before or the day of the wedding than it is to back out a week later after you've dragged everybody to watch you say all this stuff, all this crap in front of each other. Let's face it, even Cash knows it's absolute crap.
Yeah.
And they don't love each other. Because God knows what John's vows would have been like. But I think I would have been like bumhole clenching all the way through it.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm glad we didn't have to sit through that.
Yeah, I part of me is a little bit like I've wanted the whole objection.
Objection, Mr. Farmer!
Well, has anyone got any objections?
We
Half the bay raises their hand.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted a bit of that, but also
not for Harper though. I think it would have been so. Oh.
Yeah, and I think as it's gone on and I've softened to her and I've felt a bit for her, I think as we got closer to it, I thought, oh no, to put her through that would have been horrendous.
Because again, it would be another woman that becomes like the brunt of the joke, like gets hurt again. Teflon Tane wouldn't have, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have embarrassed him. He's quite happy to get married to someone he doesn't love and he doesn't know whether he'll ever love. He's quite happy with that. He's made his bed with it. She's the one that's in love with him and she's the one that's going to get her heart broken and be embarrassed. So even if it had gone to the wire, even if it had been to the point where they were at the ceremony and it had fallen apart at that point, I still don't think Tane would have given a crap. And I think that's the problem is it would have been Harper crying, Harper running away, Harper being embarrassed. And I think she didn't deserve it. I'll be honest.
No, I'm glad you're saying that. I agree, completely agree with you. He's cold. He's like a steel.
He is.
And if it had gone to the ceremony, he'd have just stood there emotionless.
He would, yeah. And he wouldn't have even comforted the person that he is not in love with, but says he cares about. Because he keeps saying, I care about you, I care about you. And I'm like, I can't even see any evidence of that. I can only see evidence that he cares about the baby. I can't see any evidence that he cares about Harper as a person.
Yeah. Did you stick around for the trailer? I know you don't want.
I did for Friday because I was so hooked in. I was like, I am so looking forward to next week. I needed to know what was going down. So yeah, I did stick around.
Is this Karma coming back finally, but rebalancing things for him?
But then, who looks bad? Who looks like
let's
the
see.
bad guy?
Well, yeah, let's see how it pans out first. Let's put a pin in that because you're right. It could end up being written like, she
looks like the woman scorned in that trailer.
I mean, well, and she will be, won't she?
Well, she will, but like it's not like he doesn't look like he's still Teflon Tane. He doesn't look like the bad guy that was going to marry a woman he doesn't love.
If she shuts him out of that baby's life, that's how you get him where it hurts.
Yeah, but she looks like a bitch. She looks like an absolute psychotic bitch that didn't get her way.
I love a bitch.
I know, but it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I know what you mean. Perception of the woman and all that. Yeah.
He might be getting karma in the sense of he's not getting what he wanted. He's not getting access to the baby, and the baby's all he wants. Let's face it. But he's looking like the victim in this again.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not happy.
Oh no. No. I'll tell you what, there was something else going on as well, but it's a very sort of brief thing to end the pod on, really. But Eden was deciding she was going to ask Cash to marry her again. Talking about this sort of perception of, and how men and women are portrayed, Obviously we've got Tane and how he's portrayed and sort of comparing that to Harper. Obviously Eden's the one asking to marry as well, so that's a thing that she's contemplating this week. But also Levi has done and I wanted to get your thoughts in.
Oh dear.
He's decided now that he'll have a kid after all.
Mm.
And I found it quite fascinating because I've written down here, is it the same when a man changes his mind? Compare this to Flick. And when Tane was pressing for her family, and Felicity wasn't there, and she was saying, I'll get there, I'll think about it. This feels like the same flipped on its head.
Yes.
And Mac has done a Tane on Levi, almost, and there isn't the same reaction.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
am I speaking out of turn?
No, you're absolutely right, and I think it is different because I don't know how to describe this really, because obviously I'm not a parent and I never wanted to be a parent, so I always feel a bit of a fraud when I talk about sort of mother and father storylines, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel because although he said yes and he said I'm scared but I want to go for it, his life potentially isn't going to change as much as Mac's life is going to change. And I did go away and look up what happened to Mac, because we had a conversation last week, didn't we, about whether Mac could have kids based on her history and all that sort of stuff. And I have got some information for you.
Oh, check your well.
So obviously Mac has been pregnant before that we know of, because on the show she got pregnant with Ari's baby. She had an ectopic pregnancy in 2021, and because of that, she had to have one of her fallopian tubes removed surgically, which means that she can still naturally get pregnant and have a baby, but it will be harder for her to do that because she's got one fallopian tube instead of two.
Yeah.
So
understood.
That, as far as I'm aware, if anybody else out there has got any more information, that's what I could gather from Googling it, because I couldn't remember the full history of it.
Yeah.
So her life might be different in terms of she might have to go through IVF. Potentially that could be an option, because she might find it harder to conceive a baby naturally because of her backstory. And obviously her body's the one that's going to change. Her body's going to change because she might potentially get pregnant, or she might find that she can't get pregnant, and then she's got to deal with that and the fallout of that, and whether they look at alternative options. I don't think it's as big a deal for the man to change their mind, because I don't think, in terms of baby making, and I'm being really probably black and white here, in terms of baby making, the man's involvement is less dramatic.
Yeah.
And his life potentially is not as fundamentally changed as hers. Like, men that have children don't get asked, are you going to go back to work after you have the baby? Are you going to go and have a year off after you have the baby? Women get asked that. Women get asked, is your career going to go on hold? Are you going to go back to work after having the baby? Your body's going to change, this, that and the other. Men don't have the same, you know what I mean? Am I going too far into this?
I don't know. I think I just need a minute to process really what you're saying.
Because if it was her changing her mind about having a baby, I think that's a bigger deal than a man changing their mind.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you? You don't. But it's the commit. But I mean, it's committing to the. I understand the biology of it, and it's a lot more for a woman to go through physically. But he's still committing to.
Oh yeah, their relationship.
A child forever.
Yeah, he's essentially saying, I want you in my life forever, because we're never gonna. If we have a child together, we're never gonna be not connected in some way.
I mean, so caveat, same as you. Kids isn't. I don't feel qualified enough to talk about this sort of thing. But I'm thinking, so a man's choice is less worthy than a woman's choice?
I don't think. I think it's just different. I think there's different connotations for both, and I think for the woman, it's got a more of an impact on her career, her body, all those things. Whereas a
Yeah.
bloke, it's not.
And I accept that. I do accept that.
All he has to think is the long term. Do I want to be with this woman or connected to this woman? Because obviously they could split up and still have a child and all that sort of stuff. Do I want to be connected to this woman for the rest of my life, or for however long this child needs both of us to be, within each other's?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
it's a massive decision. Like either way, it's a massive decision. Is this? I don't know.
I don't know. It's way too highbrow for me, this.
I don't know whether I see it yet. I don't know whether
Yeah.
I'm convinced this is a storyline that we're going to actually get, or whether this is a storyline
Yeah.
that potentially could turn into we can't have kids, or
Well, the signs are there, aren't they? The medical history that you've very grateful that you looked that up. The medical history we knew anyway, didn't we, from memory? But like, there's obviously a medical history hurdle. There's we knew that Levi was against it in a previous relationship. What does that mean here? He asked to sleep on it, but I think Mac's sort of dead set, isn't she? And it does seem to have come out of nowhere, and that's caused some friction. So then you've got this whole thing. I don't think financials are an issue where Levi is concerned.
no.
But Mac, that is a whole grey area.
Well, because she's so career driven, isn't she? Up until now, but then obviously she could change her mind and just go, well, my priorities have changed. And up until now, Salt's been my number one priority, but now my number one priority is being a mum.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
If she decides that that's what she wants to do, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not convinced. We said it with 2 baby plots is a bit strange.
Yeah.
And there's that. So the evidence is there, but it's early doors, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how it was playing out when it was the other sex.
Yes. Yes.
And it is an interesting debate, isn't it? And even just this conversation now has sparked. I'm thinking now. Have I judged a bit? Have I come to this with a bit of prejudice? I don't know. I'm starting to think now about my initial gut reaction, and is that because I'm a fella?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
or a non-parent, or
I don't think my gut reaction to the storyline is probably typical either, because of my personal feelings about having children. I don't want them, so I find it really hard to put myself in her shoes and think, she's like, oh, I really want to be a mum. Last week she didn't even mention it, and now that's all she can think of, and she wants it. So I can't imagine that. So I find it really hard to put myself in her shoes, but I don't know.
It's fascinating, isn't it, to think about, though?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, sorry, it's time for your say on the bay.
My say.
No, not your say. I do love our stupid little jokes. Oh dear. Are you ready?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Because
Should I be braced?
Brace yourself. I have been digging, as you know, social medias. I've been all over them.
She loves it.
I've been reading it. I've been on Facebook. I've been on the Twitter. I've been everywhere. Yeah. So I'm going to read out people's thoughts about the episodes that have aired this week in the UK. And let you know what people think. But just a quick reminder before I do that, we do tweet along live with the show. We watch it at 6:30. So if you are available between 6:30 and 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, and you jump on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, use the Home and Away UK hashtag, jump on, join the discussion. There's a few of us on there every night that have a little chat about what's happening live. And then what I do is basically take all their comments and read them out in this bit called Your Say
Woo-hoo.
Yay! If you don't do social medias though, fair enough, because Twitter's apart from the Home and Away hashtag, Twitter's pretty awful. So don't blame you. If you want to send us an email, we haven't had an email for ages, guys. So come on, where's Jacob? Where are you? coastalnewspod@gmail.com is our email address. So yeah, jump on an email if you feel like it and tell us your thoughts. Right, sorry, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. So,
Mm.
the topic that's been dominating the social media comments this week for the I don't know how many weeks in a row now is Eliza.
Yeah.
The story, even though it's not
Still
been.
causing a stir.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't say this week was Eliza heavy in terms of storyline, but she's still, there's a lot of there's more comments about her, and there's clips on the Home and Away UK page with Eliza on it, the burning of the bear and that kind of thing. So there's lots of comments on her. So I thought I'd start
Interesting.
with this topic, because we have been talking about her for a while, because obviously this has been a storyline that's been going on for a little while now. So I'll read some comments out. So Julie on Twitter says, she's scary. The way she came into Salt yelling. No wonder Rue is a bag of nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She's intimidating, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Is she 14?
Yeah, she's a young teen, isn't she?
Yeah.
And the actor isn't. She's going for it, with all these we mentioned it briefly, but all these legendary actors, and she's just going for it.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
But yeah, it's quite scary.
Yeah.
Mr. David says, I am sort of rooting for Eliza and scared for her at the same time. Yeah. It's
Interesting.
It's that fine line, isn't it, between I kind of want to see her fuck Rue up, but also I kind of want to see her get some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and for me, I was saying in the main pod, wasn't I, that the script doesn't quite go there, so it still leaves that ambiguity. And that's what I think. That's where we fall in that sort of we want her to get help and be fixed.
Yeah.
But also we want her to really cause damage.
Yeah.
I think that's where that might come from.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because from a drama loving point of view, I want to see where she's going to go with this, and I want to see her. I'd love to see her do something to Rue, because Rue's one of those characters that winds me up.
She's been on your list for a while.
She's on my hit list, so in a really sadistic way, I kind of want to see what she can do to Rue. But in another way, I'm like, Rue's not helping this girl at all. And this girl needs real help.
Yeah.
And I want to see her get that help. So
yeah,
it's difficult to it's the balancing act between the two, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that comes from us not quite knowing if she's plain evil or just messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Difficult to know. Paula on Twitter says, I'm worried about Harper meeting Eliza alone. Yeah. It was a bit of a worry. I think even Tane that's completely clueless about 90% of what's going on around him has noticed that Eliza is trouble and Harper may be in danger.
Yeah.
It's bad if he's noticed.
Won't even let her drive, let alone visit an alleged arsonist.
Absolutely. And Mr. David agrees with Paul, and Mr. David says, I hope Harper remembers all the boxing training that she did with Tane. She's going to need it.
I think so, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, she has been taught quite extensively in self-defense, I think. So I'm hoping that she can hold her own. But she has got that big bump, so you don't know, do you? You don't know. Scary times. Andrew M. from Facebook says his mother was feeling bad for the bear. In fact, she won't even eat animal-shaped chocolate. Wow. No lint bunny for Andrew M.'s mom. I'm shooketh. That's quite a comment. Wow. I don't know what to do with that.
I don't even know what to say.
Do you eat animal-shaped chocolate, Si?
I do.
You do? Yeah, I do as well.
I do.
I don't feel bad for this. I will happily eat a chocolate whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to burn one though. Like an animal-shaped toy, I don't think I would set fire to.
Yeah, that's it's a little too closer. It's a bit more closer, isn't it?
I think I've watched too much Toy Story. Like I'm almost convinced that they've got a soul or something, and I wouldn't.
Oh, it smells of strawberries.
Lots of hugging bear. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. But a chocolate, unless Pixar brings out a Disney film or whatever about a chocolate reindeer that has his ears bitten off and is in agony. I don't think I'm going to stop eating chocolate that's shaped like an animal, I'll be honest.
No, bring on the Freddos.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, but he looks like Nigel Farage. I love biting his little bloody head off.
He looks like he's been on speed these days.
Who, Nigel Farage or Fredo?
No, Freddo.
You look at the Fredo bar and tell me that's not Nigel Farage's face. I love biting his little head off. It's amazing. I feel so much better.
I'll race to the cupboard later. I've got some in.
I've got a side-by-side photo of showing you. I'll send it you.
Yeah, I think you have actually at some point. This is all
it's all coming back to you.
feeling familiar.
I share it on Instagram at least once a year to remind people.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Talking of food, though. Jet on Facebook, not the Jet, says.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Jet sing somebody. I don't know. I don't think it's Jet off Home and Away. Jet says Eliza is scarier than Marilyn's vegan lasagna.
Oh.
Is that scary? Are we scared of...
Jet might be a carnivore.
I think he might be a carnivore, yeah. I don't find vegan lasagna scary. The lack of cheese just disturbs me more than the lack of meat, I'll be honest. Who can't live without real cheese? Come on.
I know, vegan cheese just isn't that, is it?
It's not there yet, is it? I've tried.
No.
I've tried to be the ethical Sophie. It's just, vegan cheese, vegan chocolate are just disgusting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You need a bit of lactose in your life.
I do. Yeah, I am very tolerant of lactose. Yeah. Mark on Facebook says, I feel sorry for Eliza. Whoever lets her down, she gets angry and she does something stupid. I wonder if it is what's happened with her mum and dad and everyone else who's let her down and something happens to them, ... We don't know about her mum and dad, do we? This is another unknown with her. And I really want to know this, Si. Like, it's actually getting to the point where I'm annoyed that I don't know her backstory.
Well, this is what's keeping you in the story, though. This is deliberate. This is deliberate. This. Yeah. And I, as much as it's frustrating from wanting to know, that's the point. That's a soap storyline for you, isn't it?
True. Yeah. I feel like it's got to the point now where we need to know, though. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, just tell me.
I mean, she's setting fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
what happens to her mum and dad? Is she a fire starter? I want some answers now. We've got so many questions after so many weeks.
Well, I mean, Maz is homeless. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Yeah. Mr. Stewart's got to be due back soon from Merimbula.
Well, it's going to hit the fan when he does.
Yeah, we need some answers quickly before he turns up at that driveway and starts yelling, He's not going to be happy that Maz has moved out, is he? So.
Oh, he's going to be stood in Irene's kitchen going, get your flaming self back, Ham.
Oh, I'd love that. When's the last time we've seen Alf in Irene's house?
I know.
Jesus, years.
Yeah,
we need that. Sharon on Facebook says she needs help. She shouldn't be around people. She needs professional help before she really hurts someone.
Yep.
Yeah. Heather on Facebook, take her to hospital. Get her help. She needs help. It's not normal, her behaviour. Yeah. Why haven't we spoken to any of the doctors on the show about her yet, actually? Bree and Levi. I know they're not medically trained in mental health, but they seem to do a bit of everything. They seem to be like the GP of the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they'll know someone, won't they? They'll know,
a
man in the city.
Exactly. It's weird. We go to them
that's a good point.
We go to Levi about pregnancy, and he's a heart surgeon. So why don't we ask him about the fact that this girl is mentally unstable?
Yeah. I think we can explain this away by Rue being in a bit of denial. She's not really getting the support from child services she ought to, and that is a massive oversight.
Yeah.
Because they know her needs. They're the only, authority that do know that her needs, and they haven't supplied any help to Rue.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, true.
Which seems a little unusual, to be honest.
It does, unless she's ignoring it and we're not being told she's been told and she's ignoring it. But I don't feel like that's the story.
Seems a bit silly. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
either. Yeah. It would be an absolute mega stretch, that.
Seriously weird. Mohammed's got something to say on Facebook. Mohammed says, "Weird little girl needs serious psychotic help." Say it like it is, Mohammed.
Say what you say.
I like that. She's a weird little girl. I can't disagree, you know? Like,
No. Yeah.
That's how it's being portrayed right now. But saying that, you know, saying all these comments about how she seriously needs help, again, lots and lots of praise for the actress that's playing Eliza. So Martha Kate Morgan, that's playing Eliza on the show at the moment, so many comments about her performance. So I'm going to read out a few, but obviously not all of them. So Maeve on Facebook says, "Horrible character, but brilliant and talented young actress."
Yeah.
Yeah. Susan says, "It's only a TV program, but damn, that girl is a fab actor. She's got so many people hating her character." And that's testament, isn't it? As Sue says, it's testament to her performance that we'd love to hate her.
Very few actors her age can do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's going to be one to watch, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, definitely. Mark on Facebook says, "The actress who is playing Eliza the Devil Child is doing a brilliant job. Would be nice to see the character change for the good and stay in the show." So Mark doesn't want her to leave. That's a good praise.
Yeah, go on the journey, go on the arc.
Yeah, go on the character arc. And
that's true. We don't know the longevity of her, do we yet?
No, not yet.
Really, yeah.
Fostering
suggests short term, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. In today's world, in today's home and away world, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Anne on Facebook says, "I must admit it's not giving fostering a positive light. The obsession with Harper is creepy, but she's playing a great part." Yeah.
That's fair.
Nothing but praise. Even if you're not enjoying the storyline, you can see that she's a good actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
And she's right about the sort of painting fostering, because I'm not watching this rushing out to foster kids anytime soon.
I wasn't before, if I'm honest, and I'm definitely not now. So
I told you about the foster. Did you know it was National Fostering Week last week?
Oh yeah.
And at work they had like a road show.
Yes.
Did
you not sign up?
About it. No, I was like, no chance, ladies. I've seen Home and Away. They were in stitches.
Not a chance. Oh dear.
But I must say there are many people who do. It's a wonderful thing to do.
Oh yeah. And obviously
I don't want to sort of trivialize it, but it's a great thing.
This is drama, so we are getting the worst storyline possible, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a commendable thing to do, you know, for local children in need, and there's not enough of them. I learned it was an education. But yeah.
Cool. Okay. Good.
And they pay you.
Yes, I knew that bit, but still, I don't think doing it for the money is the right thing.
You're doing them a favour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Making them sit on air on a Friday night.
Yeah, exactly. Pat says the character Eliza is a brilliant young actress to pull off the part that she's playing so well. Although I'll be glad when it ends, but she's doing a really good job. So, Pat. Necessarily not enjoying the storyline, but loving the portrayal of it. So again, it's, you know, everyone's saying the same thing, which is nice. We should be able to give that feedback when it's good feedback.
Yeah, people are acknowledging that she's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yeah, unanimous by the sounds of things.
It is. Then. I've only ever found a lot of people saying they're not enjoying the storyline, but those people also saying, but she's doing a good job. She's creepy. You know, she's freaking me out, and the reason I'm not enjoying it is because of that. Because not everyone like you and I enjoy these kind of creepy, uncomfortable storylines. Not everyone does, but they can still appreciate that kind of portrayal of it. I think, which is nice to see, and I thought it'd be good opportunity to read out those comments.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing, because not all the time. Not all the comments can differentiate that, can they?
Yeah, exactly. Especially not on
Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah, but Facebook has done
Yeah.
a really good job this week of being able to see past their own sort of dislike of a storyline and see the the work
Yeah.
that's been put into it, I think, which has been nice to see.
Yeah.
Okay, next topic of conversation is Theo, Lacey, and Gage, and that weird little, is it a love triangle or a sex triangle? I don't know. What is it? A cheese triangle? I don't know what it is. What is
Take a
it?
sex triangle over a cheese triangle any day.
Oh, I don't know. Like right now, I'd probably take a cheese triangle. I'm kind of peckish after me wine. I don't know. I feel a bit full. And I'd like some cheese.
And
Yeah.
Flo's not visiting.
No. No.
You can still have cheese triangles when Aunt Flo's over.
That's true. Cheese triangles are for life, Del, not just for. Not just when your builders are in or your painters are in or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but sorry, listeners. Glimpse into our little. I do apologise. I forget that they're here. I forget you guys are here sometimes.
I know.
You're too quiet. Make some noise and then we'll remember you're there. Oh dear.
Can you imagine this live? Oh God.
No, I want to be sick just thinking about it. But anyway, Theo, Lacey, and Gage, you sent
Trying
me.
to work the tech out. Yeah, go on.
You sent me a post from you're on the forums, aren't you? You're on the Digital Spy forum, and you have a little bit of a lurk on there and tell me what's happening sometimes. So you sent me a post from Digital Spy forum, and it was from Wallach, and Wallach says I agree. So obviously replying to a thread about Gage, that Gage comes across as a really nasty piece of work, unlike previous River Boys. For example, Dean is not a scumbag, and neither were the Braxtons. That's debatable, I think, isn't it? Some people think the Braxtons were scumbags.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Wallach doesn't. Wallach doesn't think Dean was a scumbag or the Braxtons, but he says that now, I think it's a he. So now the River Boys are much more edgy and dangerous, which I personally don't like. I'd rather they were lovable rogues. That's interesting, isn't it?
I think this is testing though, because obviously Gage, what we know of him is quite two-dimensional.
Yes.
Whereas if we compare it to the likes of Dean, your Colbys, your Braxtons, we knew loads about them. And we got to know loads about them. So I suppose that is where that sort of, lovable rogue thing comes from for them. Perhaps if we learn we might, if Gage is around for a long time, we might learn that his mum was a smackhead and he brought himself up, and then we might think, oh, do you know what? There's a vulnerability to him, and and then you start developing the character, don't you? At the moment, he just seems like a tool.
Yes, although I guess he doesn't. Yeah, I guess he doesn't remind me of a normal River Boy in terms of what we know before, because, like you say, we don't know him as well as we knew the River Boys of the past. But he does remind me of Tex in a way, the bikie gang.
I think he's wearing his clothes. I think that helps.
They've definitely got the same wardrobe, haven't they? Definitely. Although, Tex wasn't a River Boy, he was in a different gang entirely. But he wasn't that lovable in terms of he wasn't that redeeming. He didn't have that kind of like back history of
that's true.
Bless him.
Yeah.
But I loved him.
Yeah, that's true. He some reason he got under both our skin, didn't he?
Yeah.
And we knew about as much as we know of Gage, don't we?
Yeah,
really?
like he just was a nasty bloke for no reason that we could fathom, because we weren't told what it was. So.
Okay, you've just dismantled my theory in one foul swoop.
Yeah, but he wasn't a River Boy, so this is specifically about River Boys and whether they're lovable rogues or nasty pieces of work, as Wallach's language is saying. I don't know.
Interesting thoughts for us to ponder.
It is, absolutely. We had a conversation quickly about Lacey earlier on, and Julie on Twitter is really sus of Lacey, actually, because she says, funny how she, Lacey, has just contacted Theo, and now her boyfriend, Gage, has just turned up looking for him. Is she setting Theo up here?
Oh, what a coincidence.
Do we think this is a game? Is she playing a game?
Well,
Does
we don't.
Gage know? Is he
I
on?
think.
Is he
Well,
pimping her out?
we've admitted we don't really know, do we?
No, we haven't got a clue.
We can't read it, but it's certainly a possibility, and I'm now imploring that to be the case because that sounds quite exciting. But we don't know, do we? We shared it on the main pod. We don't know.
Yeah.
So is he asking the question just out to cyberspace?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
What do you think? Get in touch.
Yeah. Tell us. Tell us what you think. Avril on Facebook says, right, so Avril's not been watching the show for a while, but says, when I heard of Dean's return, I picked up Home and Away again after giving up at the beginning of the year. So not watched it for a few months. I'm not sure how long I'll last as the storylines are just ridiculous. What's happened to Theo? Question mark. The writers have given him a complete personality change. Now, we were talking about this on the earlier show. Now, I'm not hating Theo's personality change. I'm not saying I'm ready to switch the TV off. I'm not getting to that point. I'm not thinking, oh, why am I watching it? It's ridiculous. But I am questioning how quickly his personality has changed.
And someone who's not watched for a few months are going to see it stark, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an interesting testament, really.
Because we've said the same, and we've seen it like over a few weeks, but obviously Avril switched it back on and gone, what the hell? So it's not just us that feel that way as well.
No, that's validating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, definitely. Celia on Facebook says, I don't like how Theo's character is being portrayed.
Not the Celia.
Not the Celia.
Yeah. I mean,
like it.
yeah, he's going down the wrong path, and that's gonna put some of his fans up, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's human though. He's young and he's human, and I think it's quite easy. I think we've all been there, you know. Not in this exact scenario, but we've all, you know, done things and made decisions when we were younger that were not best.
Yes. Yeah. He's still quite young, isn't he? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Still room for. I mean, it's a huge thing getting involved with this level of.
Yeah. It is a bit extreme.
Yeah.
It is incredibly extreme. You know, we're not talking smoking a couple of doobs.
No.
What I'm struggling with is his reaning for it. You know, he was feeling a bit lost, and that was it. You know, like, you know, does that warrant this level? Not sure.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah. Sophie Foster on Facebook says it's down to the wrong crowd. He's hanging out with the wrong crowd again. He didn't learn his lesson after the drugs incident with Valerie, his ex.
Hey up. Somebody else has spotted the similarities.
Yeah, so has he got form for this? Is he being led astray? Is he easily led astray?
Yeah. It's definitely becoming a pattern.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Then do we start getting fraudulent? Do we start blaming it on his abusive dad? And is it sort of self, destruction?
Yeah.
He needs to be harmed. He's harming himself.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, possibly, isn't it? Yeah. It's interesting.
Gone deep now.
We're not the only ones that are seeing it, which is quite nice to sort of, it gives, like you say, it gives you that validation that we're not just the only ones overthinking everything and sort of seeing things, because we have a tendency to fill in the blanks, I think, because we look at it so closely, but we're not the only ones doing that, so it's interesting, definitely. I tell you what though, everyone is really pleased to see John and Irene making up this week. Because it's been a bit orcs, isn't it? It's been a bit awful watching him get sidelined, and we don't really know why and all that sort of stuff. So lots of praise on this storyline about them just getting on with it and making up. Mr. David says, I cannot stop reiterating how much I love Irene and John. The conversation between JP and Irene is why I watch soaps, basically.
Oh yeah, what a comment.
It's lovely that, isn't it? Because that's
Yeah.
I feel the same way as Mr. David here. This, like we said earlier, I don't care what they're talking about, just as long as they've got screen time together, because it's just unmissable.
Mm.
The
This,
chemistry
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
friendship. It's nice to see, isn't it? Regardless of what happens.
Yeah, it
So.
looks effortless as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
that whole tattoo conversation. It felt real. It felt like that was. It felt like that was probably what Lynn and Shane had a conversation in the trailer that morning when he came back from
Yeah.
holiday and went, "Oh, I got a tattoo," and she's like, "What you like?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like it would have been a genuine conversation between the two of them as real life, people.
It'd be interesting to know if they even improv'd it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Maybe that was caught
Yeah.
off camera and just slotted in at the end. Who knows?
It's just so genuine.
Yeah, it did. It felt lovely to see that. So I agree.
You
Um,
know we're going to be in. Do you know what? Forget it.
mm,
Forget I started talking.
oh, don't. You're going to talk about really leaving.
Yeah, we're going to be in tears, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm literally braced for tears. Braced.
Mm.
I'm expecting it. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be like when Sal left and I lost it. So yeah,
Mm.
not good. Nina tweeted us this week and said, "Yay, Palmer's back, baby! Whoop whoop!" So yeah,
Yes.
lots of
Whip.
lots of people happy about Palmer's return. Jamie tweeted on the hashtag this week, JP and Irene with a big hug, and all is right again.
Yeah.
Do we think it is? Do we think all is right again? Now the wedding has been shelved and there's no more will you come to the wedding shit going on. Do we think these two are just back on track?
Well, it seems to be thus far.
Yeah.
Irene's got out of the whole temptation wedding.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. All is forgiven. He's not even upset. She hasn't apologised. We're all just going to sweep it under the carpet.
She ain't apologising. She'll just make him a coffee. She did that whole "it's a pleasure to serve you, JP" thing. I thought that was quite funny.
Creeping.
I think that is Irene's way of saying sorry, though.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's
Fair
it's a
enough.
boomer thing. It's a boomer thing.
Yeah.
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 It's the whole don't talk about your feelings, but crack on and carry on and make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Put a little heart on the milk on top.
Yeah, exactly. It's actions, not words, isn't it? That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. There was lots of dialogue this week about babies and marriages, things that I don't normally get excited about, but I wasn't the only one to notice it because Julie on Twitter said there are a lot of snap decisions being made tonight, marriages and babies galore. I felt the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Proposals, marriages ending,
Because we had
babies this, babies
we've
that.
obviously got the Tane and Harper marriage baby storyline, and then you and I have been texting all week going, are they really doing another baby storyline with Mac and Levi? Are they really doing another wedding storyline with Cash and Eden already while the other ones are still going on? Lots of people are saying this. So,
I'm shocked that Eden and Cash didn't go, can we have your wedding instead, rather than it all go to waste?
I think you have to get a marriage license first, but yes.
I know, but
Yeah.
yeah. We could have just drawn the line under the whole thing. But yeah, there's way too much duplication. So this is that's it niggles away, doesn't it? Thinking, well, surely it's not all going to happen.
Yeah, what's going to actually play out and what's going to not actually play out, I don't know. Mr. David noticed as well. Mr. David says, why is everyone so obsessed with babies in Summer Bay? Good question. I have no idea. Can't help you, doll. No idea. Don't know. Talking of wedding woes, though, obviously lots of tweets about Tana and Harper. Harper? Who's Harper? Tana and Harper this week. So Jamie says the most awkward engaged couple ever. No love whatsoever. Now this was obviously the episode where we saw the rehearsal.
Yeah.
With JP.
Oh God.
That was about as fun as a funeral, according to Eden.
I'm shivering thinking about it.
It was pretty orcs. Mr. David says, I just want to hug Harper and tell her not to marry Tane. And he also lets us in on a thing that we might have forgotten about, saying Harper and Dana have said multiple times that their parents were neglectful. So she should know that having two married parents does not automatically mean a happy household for the child. Good point.
Here we go. Yes. Very good point.
Yeah. Yeah, she knows
Your
what
experience tells you, love.
she knows what a loveless marriage looks like. She knows what awful parents look like, because we've been told that they've been brought up by addicts who didn't give a crap about them and just looking for the next fix and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think luckily, I think that's why it was important she didn't go through with it in the end.
Yes. Yeah. Not the same situation, but it's still a potentially traumatic upbringing for a child to be brought up in a marriage that's
Yeah.
in a household that's not loving.
Yeah. And you always try and do better by your own children, don't you? You always try and give them something you didn't have.
Yes.
That's what I hear people say. You always try and, better,
Yes,
so that makes sense.
it does. Julie on Twitter says they are sharing a bed. Obviously, Tana and Harpe. Harpe? I keep saying Harpe. Tana and
Harpe. I'm happy to go with Harpe.
I don't know where that's come from. Tana and
Let's just declare it
Harper.
now.
Harpe.
It's come from the bottle of that Savvy Bee.
Maybe that's their ship name. Maybe they finally got a ship name, Harpe. Who knows? Anyways,
Now it's over.
Apologies, Julie, for reading this out wrong. They're sharing a bed. I get the impression they're not sleeping together. Have they only been together the once? That's what I'm thinking. If they were,
Well, she is 9 months pregnant. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not the biggest turn on, is it?
I know, but Julie's saying, have they only had sex once?
As far as we've seen, that is definitely a possibility.
Because Julie's saying if they were together properly, there would be more affection between them, like kissing and cuddling.
So if they had a more physical relationship, his feelings might grow.
Possibly, or something would, definitely. Yeah.
It all helps.
Yeah. Well, they say that, don't they? They say that, like, the minute you don't do that anymore, that's when you're in trouble, and you need that to kind of keep that closeness between you. You know what I mean? Like in a relationship, like if that goes, that's kind of like the kiss of death to the relationship, isn't it? I think. I don't know. Maybe that's what Julie's alluding to. I don't know. Mr. David saying it's such a weird and odd arrangement. It's 2025. They can raise a child without being a couple. They're just hurting each other and causing themselves untold harm, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. True.
I'm looking at that trailer for next week. Oh, God.
Well, yeah. I'm looking forward to that though. So I'm sick. I'm sick of the head. Oh dear. Tweety Tie on Twitter says, I know lots of people feel sad for Harper and are mad at Tane, but I don't understand why she even likes him. They barely know each other. She should have seen this ages ago, and she's stupid. Tane's been consistently uninterested. He doesn't want to overtly hurt her feelings, but long term it's a shambles. Yeah. There is
Harsh
that.
words.
There is that. I mean, I get it. There is that kind of point where we've been told for weeks that Harper knows that he doesn't love her. Like this week, she went around and sort of said, "Yeah, I'd like to know that. I'd like to know if you love me." I'm not being funny, but she's known for weeks that he doesn't love her. She said she's told John. She's told Dana. She's told Cash.
I know, but I think she needed to hear it from him to actually believe it in the end.
I know.
I think she believed that maybe he did in denial, and I think she needed to hear it. I personally wouldn't have needed to hear it, I don't think.
No, me neither.
Everything else was telling you.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have saved myself from that.
Yeah, exactly. I think as you get older, actions speak louder than words, and I know that's like a corny phrase, but you can tell someone I love you, and their actions can be completely different. anyway. So he could have lied and said, yeah, I do love you, but his actions to her don't show it. So I'd took that as the cue, not even what the words were.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that's why I'm judging her so much, because I don't listen to what people say. I watch what they do.
Yeah, show me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh dear. Kay on Facebook says, and she doesn't mince her words, Harper was just a one-night stand.
Well, it's similar to what Julie was saying, really.
Yeah.
There is nothing else, is there?
Yeah. Have they just done it once? Is she just a one-night stand?
Yeah, and he's got this silly sense of duty,
Mm.
and they've ended up in this. She's ended up kidding herself, and he's kidding himself, really.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, he is. Because he wants this. He's got this idea of what a family is in his head. It's a very old-fashioned idea, and he just thinks that that's the right thing to do.
Going through with the wedding, he didn't have that anyway.
No, that's true.
He's, just had a piece of paper.
Yes, true. Dee's got an anecdote for us on Facebook. Do you want to hear this?
I don't know, do I?
I'm going to read it out. You decide. You tell me. So Dee on Facebook says, I know a couple who got married and they were not in love, but they were happy for decades. Then she passed away and they've got 2 kids and had a happy marriage. They grew to love each other. People who are in love don't always last. Yeah. So I think the anecdote is there that you could be in love when you get married and divorce, but 2 people who weren't in love when they got married could have kids and live happily till they die.
I don't know how to react to that.
It's just an alternative view on what's happening, I think.
Fair enough. I mean, he was probably gay.
I tell you what, though, if you don't know how to react to that comment, Jeanette Brown does, because Jeanette's response to Dee was, "What's to love about Harper? She expects too much."
What?
Now this is confusing because Harper expects to have a loving marriage, and I don't think that's much to ask.
I don't think she's asking for much. No. No, I don't think it's much to ask. I mean, I will agree she got herself in this position.
Yes.
But, she's not asking for much.
She's only asking for the person that she marries to be in love with her. And I think that is, when you are getting married to someone, I think that's the minimum I would expect.
Yeah. And I think you summed up well on the main pod, like, she does deserve it. You know what I mean? She's not done anything to not deserve someone to love her.
Exactly. She's not a
Who doesn't want
horrible
to be loved?
person. She's not awful, is she? She's not,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and Kath on Facebook says she deserves a lot better. So a lot of people do think she deserves better. And I thought at the end of the Harper chat that we're going to talk about, I thought this would be a comment that you would like. Janice from Facebook says, I love Dana and Harper. I think they're brilliant and glad she doesn't marry him. He's being selfish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely. What we've said. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to end this week's Your Send the Bay, another comment from the Digital Spy forum from someone called Andrew HH, which is another comment that you passed on to me, saying, Home and Away is my favourite soap at the moment, what with the Riverboy storyline and Troubled Eliza.
Oh, there we go.
That's nice to hear.
It is. Someone who's choosing us as number 1.
Nice to hear. Glad you're enjoying it, Andrew. Hope the storylines end up being something that you are continuing to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, we've said it ourselves as well. We agree, don't we, at the minute?
Yeah. They are the strongest ones going, I think. The Eliza stuff and the the Theo stuff is the reason why I want to come back next week and find out more, really.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.